En el video anterior vimos los tipos de vampiros, o al menos muchos de ellos. Si bien me han faltado, agradezco que dejen sus aportes en los comentarios. Pero en este video les recomendaré 7 relatos sobre vampiros que sé que les van a horrorizar.
12 лет прошло после выхода Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, и знаете что? Люди до сих пор в нее играют. Да, вампирская тема выжила, и после романтизации и отторжения своего темного начала нам и сегодня интересны страшные сказки, даже если их берутся рассказывать не в первый раз.
Of course, exhibits many of the traits that we associate with classic vampires, including shape-shifting into bats.
The 1992 film Bram Stoker's Dracula is my favorite adaptation of the most adapted horror novel ever, Dracula, by some guy whose name I forget. Oh right, it's Bram Stoker. Inspired by the true history of Vlad III, Voivod of Wallachia, aka Vlad Dracula, aka Vlad the Impaler, aka Vlad Tepes, which also means the Impaler. Stoker's novel takes its title from this true historical figure and references Vlad's history several times. However, the novel begins at the end of the 19th century, not in the 15th.
The year 1462. Constantinople had fallen. Muslim Turks swept into Europe with a vast superior force.
The Turks Anthony Hopkins mentions here are the Ottoman Empire. They had conquered Constantinople 9 years before the date he mentioned, in 1453, and in doing so ended the Eastern Roman Empire. By 1462, the Ottomans were strengthening their grip on the Balkans, including Vlad III's home turf of Wallachia, in present-day Romania. Vlad was one of the few leaders in this region that managed to resist the Ottoman expansion, at least for a while.
From Transylvania arose a Romanian knight of the Sacred Order of the Dragon.
The Order of the Dragon was a true military order founded in 1408 by Sigismund von Luxembourg, a later emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. Its aim was to defend Christendom against all non-Christian invaders, but particularly against the Ottoman Empire. Vlad III's father, Vlad II, took his title from this order. He was called Vlad Dracul, or Vlad the Dragon. His second son then took the title Vlad Dracula, meaning son of the dragon. Throughout the film, we can see a fictional version of Dracula's family crest, which depicts a dragon.
He must face an insurmountable force, from which he might never return.
Because Anthony told us this battle occurs in 1462, and it appears to begin at night, then concludes in the early hours of the morning, it is likely meant to loosely depict the night attack of Târgoviște, during which Vlad III raided the Ottoman camp just south of the Wallachian capital of Târgoviște. Vlad's troops did take out a sizable chunk of the Ottoman army, but didn't defeat them completely as the scene would have us believe. Vlad did, however, leave a, quote, forest, unquote, of thousands of impaled Ottoman soldiers for the Sultan to discover following the battle.
Vengeful Turks shot an arrow into the castle, carrying false news of Dracula's death.
This scene adapts a real legend regarding Vlad III's first wife, whose name is not known. While Vlad was away from his fortress, Polonary Castle, an arrow message was shot into the chamber of the princess, with news of the Ottoman army's attack on the castle the following morning. Rather than risking capture, the princess jumped from the castle tower into the river below. In the film, however, she jumps after hearing false news of Dracula's death. The river in this legend was later named Râul Doamnei, meaning the Lady's River. In a later scene in the film, Dracula names the river Argeș.
Argeș. River princess.
But Argeș is actually the larger river that Râul Doamnei connects to.
Mist-covered mountains of Warmont have belonged to the Dracul for as long as historians can remember. It is our kingdom and my home. Here we have gathered our strength and raised new initiates from amongst the human population, granting them the gift of immortality. Even my beloved Cecilia was once human, and now she reigns by my side. Together we have shaped Warmont, unchallenged by outside forces. But moonlight is not the only illumination this night. Flames rise towards the sky, and sounds of battle echo in the night. It makes me wonder, what news will arrive with the dawn?
This scene displays Dracula's ability to control the winds, which is referred to in the novel as well. This characteristic is likely taken from a passage in Gerard's articles on Transylvanian superstition that describe a school of black magic in the mountains called Scholomance. According to Gerard, only 10 students are permitted entry to this school at a time, and these are taught by the devil himself. The 10th student becomes his assistant, helping to create thunderbolts and other forms of weather. In the Dracula novel, Van Helsing accuses Dracula of being a student of the school, which would imply he learned weather manipulation.
It looks like our minion is returning from the fire. Do you think it's a raid from our northern kindred?
It's unlikely. They prefer scheming over direct confrontation. But we're about to find out. Show me what you have seen, minion. It seems the aggressors are human raiders. They've put our village to the torch. We will have to crush them quickly before they gain a foothold. I will rally our knights and prepare to—
Why don't you let me handle it? I can head out with the Thin Bloods, give them a chance to wet their fangs.
These fanatics would like to burn more than villagers.
You worry too much, dear. Let me hunt them down and bring you their hearts.
Very well, but be careful.
I always am.
Each disease is the direct infection of vampirism, but are contracted in different ways and have their own severity of ill effects. Vampires are also feared because, unlike most undead, vampires are still attuned to mortal understanding and intelligence, and possibly even more so than the average mortal. There are hundreds of different
Nosferatu. They used to whisper my name in fear, from the deep forests of Morterra to the ice-covered peaks of Essay. My realm was the center of the world, and at the height of power, I commanded legions. Power has always run strong in my bloodline, and the dead always answer my call. But with power comes intrigue, and with intrigue comes betrayal. Blood bound us, and blood betrays us. But in the end, it is blood that shall set us free.
Los vampiros son criaturas de la mitología y el folclore mundial. Han quedado grabados en la cultura popular o se han transmitido oralmente de generación en generación.
Ah, blood. It's been so long. She did this. I need more. She did not even leave me my crown, that traitorous witch. No, not she. Someone else was here. A mortal? How strange. Blood? Yes, the thief's blood. I must track it. I must reclaim it. Found you, foolish thief. Arise. Tell me, where is my crown? You took it from me. It wasn't yours, foolish thief. Who is this Dracul you speak of? I have become weak. I need my strength back. I need more blood. The thief will tell me more. He will tell us everything once I have recovered.
Hi, sir. You wanted to see me?
Yes, Death Knight. Please take a seat. As you know, we're having a tough time in the dungeons. We have a lot of low-level champions, such as yourself. I'm afraid I'll have to sacrifice you.
What? To who?
Brass Big Jaw.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm almost level 2.
Next!
Choose your champions. Raid Shadow Legends.
Los poderes cautivadores del vampiro, e incluso pueden influir en sus acciones en su forma de lobo hasta cierto punto, ya sea de forma
В
limitada
далеком
o recuperando el
2001
control.
Activision еще не успела стать конвейером по производству игр серии Call of Duty, и как издатель все еще была готова на смелые проекты. Одним из вариантов была предложена разработка сиквела Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, не самый успешный и обласканный критиками и игроками проект, но принесший достаточно прибыли, чтобы задумываться о продолжении.
Transformándose un vampiro es un cadáver reanimado que se
Просто
alimenta de los
вот,
vivos.
если совсем коротко, то World of Darkness — это вампирский мир, придуманный не имбецилами. Вот — это прежде всего настолка, а как известно, в настолки всякую херню не превращают. Вы когда-нибудь слышали о настолке по сумеркам или по 50 оттенкам серого? Вот и я не слышал. Зато играл в настолки по Игре Престолов, Звездным Войнам и так далее. ВОД не исключение. По ней есть целая куча настолок, которые базируются на огромном количестве книг. Скажу сразу, что ВОД — это не только про вампиров, но еще и про оборотней, зомби, призраков и прочую потустороннюю хрень. Есть очень много книг, посвященных исключительно сеттингу ВОД. В них рассказывается обо всех кланах, об истории их зарождения, об известных личностях среди вампиров в течение всей истории мира. При этом историческая составляющая прописана маниакально-скрупулезно. ВОД втягивает в себя все известные человеку исторические промежутки, а также мифы и легенды всех стран. Эту информацию он перерабатывает и использует в собственных целях. Вампирское сообщество в мире ВОД гармонично вписано в мир смертных и тщательно от смертных скрывается, чтобы выжить. Все вампиры, согласно мифам, пошли от Каина, которого Бог в наказание за убийство Авеля обрек вечно бродить по миру, питаясь кровью своих детей. Так появился
Vampires do exist. This one we fight, this one we face. He is both young and old. He can appear as mist, as vapor, as the fog.
For I am the dragon, Dracul. I am the Prince of Darkness. That is my vengeance. All shall come to fear me.
первый вампир, наплодивший много себе подобных. Вампиры могут принимать участие в ключевых событиях человеческой истории, тайно управлять целыми городами, манипулировать высшими эшелонами власти или же попросту вести разгульную жизнь, натягивая на кукан всех более-менее приемлемых цыпочек. В основе вселенной World of Darkness лежит вампирская политика, опять же продуманная и интересная. Состоит она из двух наиболее значимых вертикалей власти – Кабарильки и Шабаша. Помимо них есть и другие, менее значимые объединения, но тоже обладающие серьезной властью. Это, например, Анархи, Инканью и Квайджин. Понятное дело, говорить тут можно много, но так как вселенная ВОД базируется на вечном противостоянии Камарильи и Шабаша, то начну я, пожалуй, с них.
Делать вторую часть Redemption в тройка не захотели, а вот сама вселенная, эксклюзивными правами на которую Activision обладала в те годы, студии очень понравилась.
A huge inspiration for his vampire lore. Gerard's articles state that on St. George's Night, treasure can be found under a flickering blue flame. Uncovering this treasure can also attract evil spirits, and Gerard also states that by placing 3 coals at the threshold of a house, the finder of this treasure can prevent demons from entering. This latter detail may have been the inspiration for Dracula's need of an invitation before he can enter a home, or Dracula's need for someone like Harker to voluntarily cross the threshold of his castle before he can possess them, as implied here.
Help me.
The portrait of Dracula we see here was not based on a portrait of Vlad III, but instead resembles a self-portrait by German artist Albrecht Dürer, painted in the year 1500.
And I never drink wine.
Dracula chuckles at this because he doesn't drink wine, but he does drink blood. Oh, you didn't need me to explain that? Okay, sorry.
Dracula's have a right to be proud. What devil or witch was ever so great as a killer whose blood flows in these veins?
In this scene, Dracula claims to be descended from Attila the Hun. The line is adapted from a section in the novel in which Dracula goes on a considerably longer rant, revealing his ancestry and making several references to the true history of
El
Vlad
primer
III.
vampiro conocido fue el conde Vladislaus Dragulia, un deshonrado caballero de la Santa Orden que fue asesinado por su hermano de armas. Originalmente humanos, cada vampiro es una víctima que ha sido convertida por otro vampiro. La maldición es transmitida normalmente por mordeduras, con excepción de Drácula, que fue convertido por el mismo Satanás, debido a que Drácula hizo un trato con el diablo para vivir por siempre. Sin embargo, necesita alimentarse de sangre humana para mantener esa vida. Sin embargo, Satanás le dio alas a Drácula, por lo que fue libre de viajar en su forma de murciélago demoníaco. Drácula puede volar con sus alas de quiróptero de casi 5 metros de largo. Su velocidad máxima es desconocida.
Победил, если бы Регис и Детлов вышли 1 на 1 в честном поединке? Детлов — это относительно молодой 300-летний вампир, который, если измерять его человеческими понятиями, социопат или даже социофоб в своем вампирском мире. Ему чужды были отношения с людьми, он был больше зверем и диким вампиром, предпочитая общество низших вампиров, чем людей. При этом он классический вампир, который готов убивать людей без тени сомнения и капли сожаления, и без каких-либо правил. И убивал бы больше, если бы не обещание Регису, скрепленное кольцом, которое тот ему подарил. Даже Сианна, его возлюбленная, говорила, что Детлов любил ее не как человек, а как зверь, дико, неистово и отчаянно. Регис видел в этом проблему и знал, что рано или поздно Детлов натворит дел. Если Сианна умирает, то Детлов, разочарованный в людях, навсегда уходит. Это делает его похожим на скрытого. Хотя если скрытым движут отшельничество и тоска по дому, то Детлофом чувство стаи, и уйдет он не в пещеру, а к своим младшим собратьям. Регис, напротив, более социальная личность, адаптированный вампир, который не только готов и может жить среди людей, а ему это даже нравится. Отличающей его чертой являются четкие правила касательно убийства людей и питья крови, которые он старается максимально избегать, а также сильное чувство эмпатии, то есть чувство сострадания и сопереживания. Еще одна небольшая особенность, говорящая не в пользу Региса: он не до конца восстановился после практически смерти в битве с Вильгефорцем. Об этом он пару раз упоминает в разговорах, но насколько, не до конца нам понятно. А потом далее мы будем судить по его поведению и другим особенностям. Регису почти 600 лет, и по идее он должен быть гораздо сильнее, чем Детлов, ведь для вампиров возраст — это один из главных факторов роста силы. Но Регис стал более социален. Вероятно, у него притупились инстинкты, и он превратился, скажем так, из дикого волка в домашнюю собачку. Да простят меня фанаты за такое сравнение, ведь это, конечно, совсем неверно. Но несмотря на это, в чисто...
Dracula. Beware.
Muslim Turks swept into Europe with a vast superior force, striking at Romania, threatening all of Christendom. From Transylvania arose a Romanian knight of the Sacred Order of the Dragon, known as Dracula. On the eve of the battle, his bride, Elisabetta, whom he prized above all things on earth, knew that he must face an insurmountable force from which he might never return.
Donner hier, Laurgat, Amon
The vengeful Turks
Day and night they
shot
toil,
an arrow.
filling boxes with decrepit earth from the bowels of the castle.
In this scene, we learn that Dracula is having the earth below his castle boxed for transport to England. A common trait of the vampire in folklore is its need to periodically return to the specific location of its grave. My guess is Stoker elaborated on this belief and had Dracula box the earth of his home as a way of traveling with his earthen grave to England.
The theatre of war is a stage of many arts. Blood paints the true picture in the art of war, and an eternal conflict has taken center stage. While the foolish Dracul feign nobility, invaders from lesser bloodlines devastate the land. And the true enemy hides behind a veil of mold and rot. Tell me, what is the point of victory? When all you can celebrate is the end of the world.
This could be the night of your life. Fright Night is your lucky night.
Welcome to Fright Night.
Fright Night 2. Jim Brace takes your breath away.
И, скорее всего, не пойдем, потому что сюжет, в принципе, простой, но гораздо атмосфернее, если будет на русском, и можно будет читать диалоги, монологи. Так что, кроме того, в кампании доступен только первый акт, то есть первая миссия за клан Дракулы. Как я уже говорил, 3 клана, 3 фракции вампиров в игре. Это клан Дракулы, клан Носвернус, это древние вампиры, и клан Моройя, это вампиры-маги, которые живут где-то на отшибе, в северных землях, судя по всему, и владеют магией. Ну чё ж, мы пойдем, скорее всего, сейчас в сандбокс.
Vampires and other blood-sucking revenants exist in many cultures, Stoker's vampire borrows much from specifically Romanian lore, found in Emily Gerard's writings on Transylvanian superstition or other texts on the subject. While folklore will sometimes portray the vampire as human in appearance, the aristocratic, regal appearance of Dracula is owed more to fiction than folklore. John William Polidori's 1816 novel, The Vampire, is credited with establishing the trope of the vampire as an aristocrat. Like most scenes in this film, this one is adapted from the novel. However, this scene is especially iconic because it was depicted on the cover of the popular 1919 edition of the novel.
Check out my Lazarus project. It's a fucking cyborg android. Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Surrender before you destroy. Check out my Lazarus project. Whooping ass like Mayweather, bitch Floyd. Watch niggas scatter like it's a bomb threat. I'm a fucking cyborg android. Orthodox maze with lost doors. Empty rooms, shifting floors, holds the soul with hollow eyes. Through 10 days, tomorrow dies. So I'm back with just a glimpse. This 2Pac-alypse. Get the guns, ammo, skiffs, the heart of blood crips. Because it's time to revolutionize mainframe. These punk ass bitches need to be scared to show how we gang bang. Just let it rain, rain. Here comes the storm. 2Pac-alypse, not mighty Jones.
Among people, what is the final thing that he says must happen before his return? Here it is.
My hands, I'm a wild man. If Tupac could steal that nigga, they can't stand. Biggest fan. Check out my Lazarus project. It's a fucking cyborg android. Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Surrender before you destroy. Check out my Lazarus project. Whooping Mayweather bitch Floyd. Watch niggas scatter like it's a ball track. Cyborg Android. Fighting man turned into a beast. On a full moon running from a well. Trying to hit me, I can't sleep. These dreams I have been so for real. Listen, all you hear is laugh. Give me a chill. What's the deal with the vibe? Reading between the lines, showing signs. My survival. Run out of time. If I decline, I still die. Sometimes I still cry. Alone in my room waiting for the day to realize. Speaking of Armageddon, that's where we're headed. We're shedding the blood of Christ, begging for the sun to set it. Out of the darkness, nigga, I be stepping. The story of a warrior, turn me to weapon. Keep repping. The twin is here we go again. 2Pac-alypse, look at all this trouble we're in. Surrounded by police. Yelling freeze, nigga, please, I take your fucking bullet. Fuck with Jesus. Check out my Lazarus project. It's a fucking cyborg android. Ghost in the shell, standalone complex. Surrender me for your destroy. Check out my Lazarus project. Whooping that's like Mayweather bitch Floyd. Watch niggas scatter like it's a ball track. A fucking cyborg android. Gouge him out. 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 So what? Gouge him out.
This is the first time we see Dracula transform into a wolf. Stoker based his Dracula character not only on vampire lore, but also werewolf lore. In fact, Baring Gould's Book of Werewolves states that these two creatures are closely related. It was likely Baring Gould's book that inspired Dracula's ability to be transformed into a wolf. However, Romanian folklore does attribute shapeshifting to the vampire. A Romanian variation on the vampire called the Strigoi is thought to be a shapeshifter and possess the ability to vanish at will. Both of these are abilities that Dracula himself possesses.
Any other night creature can move about by day, but it is not his natural time. His powers are weak.
As Van Helsing mentions in this scene, vampires can appear during the day. For example, the French monk and scholar Augustin Calmet recorded cases of Russian and Polish vampires in the years 1693 and 1694, stating they would appear from noon to midnight. However, in folklore, vampires are generally nocturnal, so Stoker's detail that they are weaker during the day is perhaps implied in the folklore. Dracula's ability to return to a youthful appearance is also referenced in the novel. In folklore, it is common for vampires not to age, although immortality is usually implied rather than stated explicitly. Because the traditional vampire is already dead, it stands to reason they can survive indefinitely through the consumption of blood. A vampire changing its appearance from corpse-like to youthful and attractive is also not unheard of in folklore. The Romanian linguist Emil Petrovici recorded a folktale in which a strigoi transformed itself into a handsome young man in order to seduce and marry a girl. Later in the film, Dracula introduces himself to Mina as Prince Vlad of Sikali.
I am Prince Vlad of Sikali.
Historically, Sikalis have claimed to be descended from Attila and his Huns, although the truth of this is complicated. Dracula's claim also contrasts with the true history of Vlad III, who was of Wallachian and Moldavian ancestry rather than Sikalis.
Your firm writes most highly of your talents.
I know what you're thinking, but Dracula's hairy palms have nothing to do with self-love. This detail is taken from Stoker's novel, who in turn lifted it from the Book of Werewolves by Sabine Baring Gould, another book that inspired much of the vampire lore in Stoker's novel, even though Baring Gould's book is mainly about werewolves. This book states that a werewolf can be identified when not in wolf form because he has short fingers and hair on the hollow of his hands. As cool as Dracula's shadow is in this scene, it is not accurate to the novel, which states that Dracula casts no shadow, nor is he reflected in any mirror. Stoker likely adapted this characteristic from ancient superstition that links a person's shadow or reflection with their soul. Therefore, no reflection means no soul. Here, Dracula is licking Harker's blood. I'm sure you'll be surprised to learn, because he's a vampire.
And after many of the witnesses are captured and defeated, the world will celebrate. They will believe that they have won. And then See how God gets glory in resurrection? The number one question believers and non-believers have is, why hasn't Jesus returned yet? What is the delay? When is he going to come and gather up his church and then reign on the earth? It's been almost 2,000 years. What's going on? Well, in Matthew chapter 24, Jesus explains exactly what must happen before he returns. When will you return? When is it going to happen? So in Matthew 24, verse 3, it reads, "Tell us," they said, "when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" Jesus answered, "Watch out that no one deceives you. For many will come in my name, claiming I am the Christ, and will deceive many." You see, Jesus wanted to make it clear to them when they should expect his return. And so in verse 6, he's going to begin to let them know exactly what must happen before he returns. Where just about every nation knows who Jesus is. That he is a king, and that he has a kingdom, and that he will return. Now, that was one of the last things Jesus said would happen before he returns. He said that there would be wars, there would be a lot of hate, and then he said that when every nation has heard the good news of the kingdom, then I am going to return. With YouTube, just this video alone is reaching every nation. Think about that. You see, Satan thought that YouTube would be a tool to spread hate. And yeah, that's happened. But God has flipped it and used YouTube as a tool to spread the kingdom. In these last days, it has become one of the number one tools that is reaching every nation with gospel-centered teaching explaining the kingdom of God. Remember, Jesus never said that every person would hear his message. What he said was every nation would hear. And in this generation, God has allowed technology to advance for the purpose of doing what the people in Jesus' day would have thought impossible, and that is reach every nation with God's kingdom in a single day. Jesus said it. The last thing that would happen is that the world would hear the gospel. And we're there. We are getting there, if we're not already there. It's not coincidence. The gospel is reaching the world. Spread this message wherever you can. Share it. Spread the gospel.